We are live.
Good afternoon, everyone, and particularly to our speaker from USA, who I say good morning. It is a pleasure to welcome you today. As we all know, effective leaders are the architects of change, community success, and societal transformation. As you get, today's topic will be decision-making power, cultivating leadership for change. Effective decision-making is the heart of impactful leadership. Leaders must develop critical thinking and emotional intelligence to drive change, empowering others and fostering collaboration, enhance collective decision-making. Cultivating leadership for change means inspiring action. My name is Ongla Pascaline from Cameroon, Women Ascension Fellow and Certified Members of Women Ascension Organization and Value Heard Africa National Coordinator. I will be your valuable moderator for today's session. Once again, welcome. Today we have an incredible lion of experts, distinguished speakers, who will share their insight on how leadership excellence can be cultivated, particularly in the context of decision-making. Whether you are looking to inspire transformation in your community or empower it to make more impactful decision, this session provides valuable takeaway. We will explore questions like how to explore resilience as leadership strengthen and discover how personal transformation fuel sustainable, purpose-driven impact, or how compassionate leadership and intentional decision-making can unlock powerful, sustainable change, or explore how conscious leadership and emotional intelligence can drive effective decision-making and sustainable change, and more. Before we begin, please keep your microphone mute during the presentation and use the chat box to ask your question or share your points. So I am now honored to introduce our first speakers. Please join me in welcoming our Women Ascension Board of Advisory and Mentor, Snežana Bošković, a seasoned psychosocial support counselor, human development expert, and organizational consultant with over 2 decades of transformative work in individual and team growth. With extensive experience across both corporate and entrepreneurial landscape, she has led initiatives in leadership development, organizational culture, and career advancement. Welcome, dear Snežana. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And let's explore how compassionate leadership and intentional decision-making can unlock powerful, sustainable change. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, dear Ongla, for this amazing introduction to the conference, and thank you for the kind words that you said about myself and my experience. I'm so happy to be with you today. I'm sorry that I cannot see you, Mahin, but I'm very happy to see other faces. Hello to all speakers, participants, and today I will lead you with heart through my small presentation, or let's say small speech. I made actually a topic, leading with heart, accelerating change for all women and girls. And today I will speak more from my personal perspective, but I'm sure that you can connect that with the general one, with the overall picture. So it's truly a gift to be with you today at this gathering of hearts, minds, and change makers. Again, thank you to Women Ascension for this kind invitation to participate in this inspiring conference. And what is the most important, for creating a space where women's voices from around the world can rise, connect, and lead together. As you heard, my name is Snežana Bošković, and I'm a psychosocial support counselor, mentor, and human resources consultant. but perhaps most meaningfully, I'm a mother. I'm a single mother to a remarkable 16-year-old daughter who keeps me grounded, curious, and deeply hopeful about the future. Some of you could see her actually in the beginning of this session. She helped me with some technical issues. Here today, I will try to bring over more than 2 decades of experience working alongside individuals and teams through growth, uncertainty, and transformation. But it's my experience at home as a woman raising a young woman that shaped my deepest beliefs about leadership, power, and change. Raising a daughter on your own teaches you a lot about decision making. It's rarely glamorous. It's daily, quiet, and often invisible to the world. But it's also where I've learned the most about courage, resilience, and intentionality. Every decision I make with her in my mind. Not just what's easiest, but what's right. Not just what's needed now, but what will still feel whole and true years down the line. And that's what I've come to understand about leadership. It isn't about control or performance. It's about intentional decision making in service of something greater than ourselves. Whether we lead families, businesses, classrooms, or communities, we are always shaping futures. We are always modeling what's possible. We often talk about leadership and if it's tied to status or hierarchy. But in my work across corporate teams, entrepreneurial ventures, and personal development journeys, I've seen that true power is relational. It's the power to influence through presence, trust, and alignment with your values. As a therapist and coach, I work with approaches and methods rooted in mindfulness, acceptance, and compassion. These are not just tools for personal growth, they're tools for leadership, because decision making isn't just logical. As you know, it's really emotional, relational, and value-driven. And when women lead this way, grounded in clarity and care, we don't just manage change, we embody it. But we can't expect women and girls to lead if the systems around them don't support it. Accelerating actions means creating spaces that recognize emotional intelligence as a leadership strength, investing in single mothers, caregivers, and community leaders, not just those with corporate titles, and normalizing vulnerability, reflection, and shared leadership, not treating them as liabilities. So, leadership isn't a ladder, it's a network. And when one woman rises, she lifts others with her. I often ask myself, and I'm asking you, do you sometimes ask yourself the same question, especially for those of you who are mothers or who has some children or your friends or your relatives' children in your surrounding? So what I often ask myself is, what kind of world am I modeling for my daughter? Because as a mother, I don't just raise her, I lead her. And leadership, in that sense, is deeply personal. She watches how I handle stress, how I set boundaries, how I speak up, or when I stay silent. She learns from how I navigate failure, how I stand back up, and how I choose to treat others. I feel a profound responsibility not to be perfect, but to be honest, intentional, and values-driven. To show her that strength includes softness, that leaderships mean listening, not just speaking, that rest is not weakness, and that uncertainty is not a flaw. And that being kind, even when it's hard, is one of the bravest things a person can do. My responsibility is to lead her by example, not toward achievement, but toward wholeness. So when we talk about cultivating leaders for change, we're not only talking about boardrooms and public offices. We're talking about kitchen tables, daily choices, private moments of alignment and courage. Because girls don't just need our advice. They need our example. And they don't need us to lead perfectly. They need us to lead authentically. And I will close this presentation with just a few more sentences. So to every woman listening today, whether you are raising a child, running a company, healing from loss, or starting something new, your leadership matters. You don't have to do it all, but you can do it with heart, with integrity, and with community. Let's accelerate action, not just for some, but for all women and girls. Let's redefine what power looks like and lead in a way that lifts others, not leaves them behind. Let's raise the next generation of leaders, not just through our words, but through the way we live our lives. Thank you for being here, for listening to me, and thank you for being the kind of leader the world needs today. So I'm open to your questions, comments, anything, please. Feelings, yes.
Thank you very much, Supriya. The question will come at the end. So, because we need to hear all the speakers, and then at the end, others will use chat box to start asking their questions, so that we.
Of course, thank you, Ongla.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, what I can say about your presentation is that you raised a beautiful girl, and we can say that every decision taken about leading her was the best ever. So we don't have to fear to take decision no matter what, if we need to succeed in our life. Okay, so our next speaker, our next speaker is Mahwash Syed, who is a dynamic entrepreneur, international speaker, and certified mindset, leadership, and communication coach. She currently serves as the director and partnership growth at Efforts Solution and is the CEO of Phoenix Consultants. While Mahwash is also the co-founder of Emerge Forward and founder, president, and Panache Woman Global. With her, we will explore how conscious leadership and emotional intelligence can drive effective decision making and sustainable change. Dear Mahwash, over to you, please.
Thank you so much for this introduction, and I'm so honored to be around all these lovely people, and I'm sure they will be the change maker for the future and must be leading some group of people or maybe the large organizations today. So thank you. It's an honor to be part of this platform. Secondly, if I can share my slides first, so that then I'll start. Okay, can you all see this? Yes? All right. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we are, since we are discussing leadership, since we are discussing leadership, so we'll be discussing decision-making power and cultivating leaders for the change. This is what my topic is. Usually, I do not keep my topics strictly, presentation-based, but I keep this just to keep the people engaged, and I keep the colors very vibrant. So before we start with the topic, there's a little, there are a few stories I want to tell. I love storytelling, and I feel that we all, no matter what age we are at, we all enjoy listening to stories. So there's a little story time for all of you. And all these stories about women leaders from the past, the legendary women leaders. Maybe you have heard of some, maybe you don't know. So the first story is of Mai Kulachi. I'm not sure if anyone has heard this story. It's from Pakistan. In a small fishing village by the Arabian Sea, Mai Kulachi waited for her husband and sons, who had sailed out to fish but had not returned. Refusing to accept despair, she took matters into her own hands, venturing into the stormy sea to find them. Her bravery not only saved her family, but also inspired the community, laying the foundation for what would become Karachi. A testament of courage and resilience. As the night stretched on, she refused to remain helpless. Instead, she took a boat and ventured into the stormy water, calling out for her family against all odds. She found them, clinging to a broken mast, and pulled them to safety. Her courage became legendary, and the village she helped build grew into the great city of Karachi. If you don't know Karachi, you can just look at the pictures. You will know how big it is and how populated and polluted it is. So she was the woman who laid the foundation to the city of Karachi. So the next story, I'll be quickly telling you all stories because we are short on time. Razia Sultana from India. I don't know if anyone of you have heard of her. So Razia Sultana, dressed in a warrior's armor, Razia rode her horse into battle, her sword flashing in the sun. She defied societal norms, proving that leadership was not limited by gender. Through her wisdom and bravery, she paved the way for future women to step into roles of power and influence. Unlike other rulers, she ruled not from behind a veil, but from the battlefield, proving her strength equal to any man's. Despite opposition from nobles who refused to accept a woman on the throne, she led Delhi with wisdom and bravery. Her reign was short, but unforgettable, leaving behind a legacy of strength and justice. Tomoe Gozen from Japan. I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. If there's anybody from Japan, they might hate me if I'm not pronouncing it right. Tomoe Gozen was a legendary female samurai warrior in 12th century in Japan, known for her unmatched bravery and skill in battle, serving under Minamoto no Yoshinaka during the Genpei Genpei war. She fought fearlessly alongside male warriors, a rare honor for women of her time. Beautiful and fiercely strong, Tomoe was a master archer and swordswoman. In the Battle of Awazu in 11th century, she reportedly defeated powerful enemies and refused to flee, even when defeat was certain. Tomoe Gozen's story remains a symbol of courage, loyalty, and the power for women to lead and fight with honor in a male-dominated world. Mulan from China. I am sure everyone knows Mulan, thanks to the Disney movie. Mulan is a legendary Chinese heroine who disguises herself as a man, take her ailing father's place in the army. Brave and determined, she fights fearlessly in the battle, earning respect and honor from her comrades. Though she hides herself, her true identity, her courage and leadership shine through. She was acting as a man. She hid her true identity. After years of service and great victories, Mulan finally reveals she's a woman, astonishing everyone. Her story symbolizes loyalty, love for family, and breaking societal boundaries pressed down through generations. Mulan remains an icon of strength, sacrifice, and empowerment in Chinese culture and around the world. Queen Amina of Zazua. Queen Amina, a legendary 16th century warrior, queen from present-day Nigeria, was a fearless and visionary leader, known for her military prowess and expanded her kingdom's territory through strategic conquests and fortified cities with defensive walls, many of which still stand today. Amina defied the limitations placed on women of her time, leading armies and commanding respect from neighboring rulers. Under her rule, Zazua thrived as a powerful trade and cultural hub. Queen Amina's bold leadership and unwavering courage left an enduring legacy, inspiring generations of women across Africa to lead with strength, wisdom, and fearlessness. And the last story of resilience is Zainab bint Ali. It's from Arabia. Zainab, the courageous daughter of Prophet Muhammad, embodied resilience and leadership even in the darkest of times. After witnessing the tragedy of Karbala, where everybody was killed in front of her eyes, along with her brother Imam Hussein, she was taken prisoner and paraded through the streets of Syria. Yet in chains, she stood with the unshaken dignity, fearlessly speaking truth to tyrants. In Yazid's court, the person who made the entire family vanished, her powerful words exposed injustice and upheld the spirit of freedom and faith. Bibi Zainab's story is a timeless testament to a woman's strength, leadership, and unwavering stand for justice, even in the face of unimaginable oppression. So after going through all these stories, we always think that women in the olden days must be so oppressed. They didn't have a word. But if we go through all these legends and stories, we realize women had always one thing in common. It was resilience. If ever they needed anybody, they knew that they are by themselves only, and this is only they, and that's how maybe a lot of women have become so hyper independent. Maybe it's in our genes. So there are few qualities of a good leader that we see throughout these women and or throughout these stories. Number one is courage and confidence, resilience and perseverance, vision and strategic thinking, emotional intelligence and empathy, strong communication skills, decision-making and problem-solving, integrity, and ethical leadership. These are a few common traits that when you read these stories or when you look at these women in their lives, you will find all these common. So what do we do and how can we take important decisions? As I always say, that whoever we are today, whatever situations we are living in, we are the product of the choices we make in our lives, even before this hour, including what I want to eat, how to dress up, who to meet, with whom I can take a picture with, which parties to say, okay, that I'm coming, where not to go. So we are the product of the decisions that we have made. Always. Same applies in the leadership. Key strategies for the decision-making excellence. Number one, what do we need to do? Embrace data and intuition together. Great leaders use both logic and gut instinct. I always tell people, always follow your gut. If your gut is saying no, there is something that your inner voice is telling you. So always try to follow your gut. Fine, being practical is a good thing, but trust the data and logic, but also your gut. Data gives us fact, but intuition gives us the confidence to act. The keys to balance both. For example, Oprah Winfrey, we all know her, trusted her instincts to build her media empire, but she also relied on the data to make strategic business moves. Number two is the 70% rule. Act before perfection. We usually wait for things to get perfect, the right time, the right place, the right people. It's better not to wait that long. Jeff Bezos once said, if you wait until you have 100% of information, you have waited too long. Instead, aim for 70% clarity. Then take action. Perfectionism can be a roadblock to progress. A lot of people I've met in my career who could not just start because they think things weren't ready, or maybe they were just waiting for everything to be fine, which never happens. Think long-term, but move fast. Decision should be made with the future in mind, but that does not mean delaying action. The good leader always asks this question, how will this impact us? Not just today, but a year from now. So always think ahead of time. Empower others in decision-making. True leadership isn't about making all the decisions alone. It is about creating a culture where others feel empowered to make strong choices too. For example, Google's leader encouraged employees to experiment and take ownership of ideas, leading to some of the greatest innovations. It's always good to delegate because this is how the people who are working for you, they stand by their decisions. They have the sense of ownership. So how we can begin? Since we know now what are the qualities of a great leader, what should we do? So what to do now? Number one, start with small decisions. Build confidence by making quick, informed choices daily. As I said, we all are product of the decisions that we have been taking all throughout our lives. Number two, seek diverse perspective. You don't know everything, and please do not just go to your best friends because they'll obviously always support you no matter what you're doing. Always surround yourself with different viewpoints before finalizing major decisions. It's better that go to the industry experts. Whatever you want to venture into, whatever you want to do, please ask an expert advice. Commit to action. Now, if you have taken a decision, don't let fear hold you back. Make choices and own them. Do not find anybody to put all the blame on if things are not going wrong, if they're not going the way you have envisioned. If something has gone wrong, there has to be something that you've learned and move on, but always stand by your choices, and no matter how they are. And the last, finally, this is my own quote, leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to decide and lead with intention. The world needs more bold, decisive women like you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you much, Mahwash, and thank you for these amazing pictures at the end. I think I don't know, I don't remember the name of this heroine. What I can say about your presentation is Mulan. I learned about Mulan for the first time, about her story through an amazing movie. She's a symbol of strength. She's a good warrior, and I know that we have a lot of women who have impact the story of the world for the change. Okay, now we go directly to our next speaker, Mrs. Amanda from USA. She's the virtual learners and professional development coordinator for a school district in Alaska with over 25 years of experience in education. Amanda has worked with diverse learners from the vast steppes of Kazakhstan to the remote bush villages of Alaska, and most recently by training teachers in Pakistan and Uganda. Welcome, Mrs. Amanda. With you, we will explore how education, mentorship, and digital innovation can drive leadership and systemic change for women around the world. If you are ready, the floor is yours, Amanda. Open your mic.
I'm so incredibly, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I apologize.
now
I have
okay.
a bit of a cold, but I hope my voice comes through okay. I'm so honored to be a part of this event today. I'm so honored to be following the speakers who have gone before me. What incredible examples you are for the world. So for my part, I feel incredibly grateful to be following the two that have come before me, because I think the message really comes in a great cascade. So let's talk a little bit about us as women filling our space, right? Wherever we are, leading from wherever we are. So the idea that whether we are a mom, whether we are an educator like me, whether we are a corporate businesswoman, no matter where we are, we have the capacity to lead others. And so leading from wherever that is and filling that space. So let's talk a little bit about that decision-making, that power, and cultivating the leadership in others. So as an educator, I had a teacher who worked under me, and she worked part-time for me and part-time for another administrator. And she was struck and communicated with me that she was struck by the differences between my leadership style and the leadership style of this other administrator she was working for. And last year, this teacher became an administrator herself, and she began filling that own space in her own right, in her own school. And what I observed is that she began emulating those traits which she valued the most. And what she valued really was the collective efficacy. She valued that that ability to cultivate in others that belief that we have the power to make change. You see, that part of our power as leaders lies in our ability to discern which practices we value, what leadership styles we want for ourselves in our space. And when we lead a team, and we have a team wherever we are, whether it's a business, a school, a classroom, a hospital, a family, a group of friends, and that those leadership styles that centers on that belief that we can do things together and accomplish things. And really, it's about creating agency. In fact, you might even say that we leaders are agents of agency. So let's talk a little bit about what agency is. So agency is the power, the possession of that power and the resource to meet our potential, whatever that potential is, whatever it is that you're going for. The idea that that those that work with us and for us, that they rely on our ability to create that space and to provide them the space to exercise their power and to be proactive about providing resources for the people, our people, that they need to grow. And so if we take that concept of agency and we center it around the goals, that sharing of goals. Like we talk about some of the questions that came through in the chat were things like, how do we motivate people? Well, we start by finding our center. We start by finding what is that collective mission, that collective piece that we share. And we start from that beginning point, that we start here, this last point here, we start from wherever we are. What is that collective mission, that collective piece that we have in common? And we start from there. It creates a collective force and it gains momentum. And so it's vital to remember that any group can move forward, but that how quickly we do that is based on our group consensus. Either we are all ready or we're not ready. The idea that we walk forward together and that we as the leaders, we provide the leading, the training, the resources that we need to support that forward motion. We're the facilitators of that collective development. We guide, but the team drives. We as leaders, we fuel our people. We guide them, we cultivate their experiences, we inspire them, and we set the expectations, and we uphold those cultural, and I mean group culture, right? Whatever it is that among that group of people is considered acceptable, we cultivate that set of expectations for the team. But we also model what we expect. If we expect transparency, or if we expect that the work is done by the end of the day, or if we expect that listening to others is a key piece of our culture, our mutual culture, then we must model what we expect in others. And that we get down in the weeds with the team, that the victories are owned by all of us. And that that the victories they must be quantifiable, they must be tangible, because it's the perception of agency that is even more vital than the amount of agency that someone has. If they have to feel that they have power and that they have the resources, in other words, the support from their leaders. They have to feel like we are offering them that space in which to grow. And that efficacy, it has to be validated. And it can do that, as it was mentioned by the previous speakers, through the data. We can literally point to the information showing the success, right? And that it's the agency or that power, it has to be real. It has to be authentic. It has to be something we can point to. We set a goal, we achieved it, and now look at us, we've achieved this thing, and now what are we ready to do next? Because you have more power together than you have alone. And women are the most ready and capable group of humans on the planet for this, because we are truly steeped in communal approach, right? Women are the leaders and the hub, the center around which our families and our groups of friends and our communities, center around. And so with that being the case, we are more than any other position on the planet. Women are steeped and ready for that creation of agency. We spend our entire lives helping others become what they can be, the manifesting their personal potential. And so with the idea that perception of agency is vital, they must feel that they have choices to make, and those choices must be available. They must be real. But the perception offers them incredibly powerful, centered energy, right? We can say, you have 3 choices before you. We know as the leader, they really only have one choice. And we're gonna help them and hope that we can provide the resources to get to the choice that we think is the best for them. But in the end, we respect their journey to get there. And it may take more than one opportunity to get to that sense of efficacy that they have as a human, right? And team members rely on that agency. But as I wrap up here, just one more thing. There is a difference between equity and equality. There are some common learning experiences that everyone on the team is going to need, right? Whether it's your business partners or your workers that work for you or your family members. everybody needs things that bind them, right? We need that common sense of experience. But the majority of learning is growth specific to the individual. And that is where that individual expects to feel that agency. If the choices that they have aren't choices that are meaningful to them, then we've missed something. So the idea that it should be expected from the individual that they get what they need to grow, and that we as their leaders see this in them. So I hope that I hope that my message resonates with you, and I hope that in the end that we understand that we are all moving forward together in this great space that we call the world, and this great space that we call culture. So without further ado, I will turn it over to our host. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Thank you very much. Our next speaker, so following speaker, she's Dr. Lama. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her.
No, you are pronouncing right, my dear.
Welcome, Doctor. Doctor, as you see her, she is a passionate lecturer and researcher specializing in women empowerment, organizational development, human resources management, and career development. Dr. Lama is a professor at the European University and serves as a visiting professor at the Faculty of Economy, University of Porto, Portugal. With this presentation, we will gain a valuable insight into career development, leadership, and the strategies for creating inclusive environments that support personal and professional growth. Dr. Lama, the microphone is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Ongla, for this nice introduction, and thanks for Women Ascension for this occasion and for this conference where we gather our expertise and we present them for more ladies to learn, to benefit, and hopefully we have more audience and more participants in our association. Now, let me share my presentation. Just a second, yeah. And I need to use my, yes, entire screen. Application window. Here we are. Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Share. Yeah, is it seen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So, talking about decision-making power and cultivating leaders for change opportunity, I'd like to start with greeting everybody. That so far what I have heard is quite thrilling, actually. Very happy to hear your experience with your daughter as a mother and a professor at school. That's so nice. And I'd like to welcome everyone to this international virtual conference, which aims at developing and empowering women. I will focus briefly on decision-making power, cultivating leaders for change opportunities, and let's explore discover how effective decision-making can transform leadership and drive meaningful change, and the strategies that enhance our decision-making skills and help us become proactive leaders in creating opportunities. We aim to advance the rights, equality, and empowerment of women and girls worldwide through actionable insights, inclusive dialogue, and transformative leadership. A quote from Mala Yousafzai I like. She mentioned, we cannot all succeed when half of us are held back. That's why every female has to really participate. We are great as leaders. Yeah. So why is decision making is important skill in leadership? First of all, it is critical leadership skill that impacts organizational success. Second, when it is effective, it involves analyzing information, considering alternatives, and making informed choices. And third, leaders with strong decision-making skills can navigate challenges and seize opportunities. Now let's discuss the following. Imagine a leader, and let me say woman leader in this respect, at a tech company who decided to pivot the company's focus from hardware to software development. Now, this decision led to significant growth and innovation, positioning the company as a market leader in software solutions. Now, what do you think are the factors that you would consider, and what steps would you take to ensure its success? As the time is tight and we cannot actually have this discussion as an open one, it would have been very insightful and enjoyable at the same time. I summarized those factors and steps in the following. So the factors that to consider is market demand. And in this step or in this factor, we assess the current and future demand for software solutions compared to hardware. Second factor is competitive landscape, and here we analyze competitors in the software industry and identify potential market gaps. The third factor actually is company strength. And here we evaluate the company's existing strength. And here we do a SWOT analysis, of course, where we identify the strength and resources that can be leveraged in software development. The fourth factor is customer needs, and here we understand the needs and preferences of existing and potential customers. And the last factor that I included is the financial implications, and here we consider the financial impact of the pivot, including costs, potential revenues, and return on investment. And now let's see the steps, how to implement those factors. We conduct market research. And in this step, we gather data on market trends, customer preferences, and competitor analysis to inform the decision. And then we develop a clear vision. It's very important that we define a clear vision and strategic goals for the software development focus. And then we build a skilled team. This is quite important as we assemble a team with the necessary skills and expertise in software development. And then we invest actually in technology. We ensure the company has the right technology and tool to support software development. The fifth step is communicate the change, and here we clearly communicate the pivot of all stakeholders, including employees, customers, and investors as well. The pilot projects now, we start with pilot projects to test the new focus and gather feedback for improvement. And then the last step is we monitor and adapt Continuously, we monitor the progress, gather feedback, and make adjustments as needed to stay on track. And here, when we are seeking change, it's never, ever stable. We are always developing and progressing, improvement, especially with technology that we are facing today. It's developing every second. So how come when we decide to make changes? So the strategies for enhancing decision-making skills is first, we gather diverse perspectives. We involve team members with different backgrounds and expertise to gain a well-rounded view. And then we evaluate the risks and benefits. We assess the potential outcomes and weigh the pros and cons of each option. And then we stay informed, we keep up with industry trends, data, and best practices to make informed decisions. The last strategy is we stay informed, we keep up with industry trends, data, and best practices to make informed decisions. And then, now, which strategy do you find most challenging to implement? And in this, to answer this question, actually, we need to choose one of those, gather diverse perspective, evaluate risks and benefits, stay informed and reflect and learn. Actually, we use all of them, and then we prioritize according to the industry of our plant. Or now, cultivating leaders for change opportunities. Now, the leaders must be proactive and identifying and creating opportunities for change. Empowering team members to take initiative and make decisions fosters a culture of innovation. It's very important that we involve everyone in our teams, and we brainstorm so that we make them accountable for their suggestions if we adopt any of the suggestions by them. Continuous learning and development are essential for leaders to adapt and thrive in a changing environment. And now a question for discussion is that how can we apply these strategies in our current role to become a more effective leaders? So this question is for you to think about. And now to conclude my presentation, I have highlighted the importance of decision-making in leadership strategies to enhance decision-making skills and how to cultivate leaders for change opportunities, a call for action. And this presentation is a call for action. We have to reflect on our decisions, processes, and identify areas for improvement always. We have to implement the strategies discussed to become a more effective leaders. I am sure that we will shine once we lead change. Now, what is one key takeaway from this session that you will apply in your leadership journey? I would like to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much. It was really, really impactful. We learned something very important, and you know that being leader, mostly when you are a woman, is not something easy. Okay. We used to say that some women don't have the courage to become leaders. Actually, when you have elections, when you say, oh, you are a woman, why do you don't present yourself to become to represent us in the National Assembly? Sometimes she's fear. She don't have the courage to take the leads. So thank you very much for all these keys that now I know most of our participants know now the strategy, the key takeaway, how to become a good leaders. Okay, now
yes, and please update us. Who became a leader? Please always update us with that. That would be great, no?
Yeah, that would be great. So I think that they will answer. Let me run, and I'm sure that we will have an amazing discussion about that at the end. So let us welcome our next distinguished speaker. She's a clinical psychologist, counselor, therapist, and the founder of Teen Therapy Wellness. Her name, Arshad. I hope that I pronounced very well. Arshad. With over 7 years of experience in the field, Afrah specializes in cognitive behavioral therapy, rational emotive behavioral therapy, psychoanalysis, and talk therapy for both adolescents and adults. How effective leadership and mental health awareness can contribute to build resilient communities and organizations. Let's listen, Mrs. Afrah. Mrs. Afrah, are you there with us?
Dear Ongla, Ms. Afrah is requesting that her internet is giving her a bit tough time. Can we bring in another speaker and give her next turn? Would that be okay?
I think that, I don't know if normally after Afrah was Dr. Solange Bama, but it seems that I don't see her in the room. Let's go with Mrs. Marty. Mrs. Marty, she's there.
Can we go with Miss Supriya, if she's there? Dr. Supriya.
Dr. Supriya.
Yes, please.
Okay. Oh, it seems that her internet also. Dr. Supriya, are you there from India?
Yeah, I am there. Can you hear me and can you see my screen?
Yes, you're there. I'm listening to you. Let me present you quickly so that you can take the floor after that, Dr. Supriya. Okay,
Sure.
as you can see, Dr. Supriya is a seasoned communication expert and leadership coach, known for her dynamic presence and impactful approach to personal and professional growth. As a chief communication officer at Kudos, she played a pivotal role in shaping strategic messaging and empowering individuals through the power of authentic communication. Dr. Supriya is also the host of Let's Podcast, where she creates meaningful conversation that inspire clarity, connection, and confidence, leadership development, career growth strategies, and empowering yourself to make decisions that shape a successful future. Dr. Supriya, if you're ready, let's go.
Let's go. A leader knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. So, for this leader, thank you so much. Much gratitude, Maheen Amjad and team, for giving me this glorified opportunity to share my views with my all global audience and all women, lovely women who are here with me. We all know and we all are talking about leadership, traits, women leadership. But exactly the practical meaning of a leader is who knows no comfort zone, who is like a phoenix bird who knows how to rise from her ashes, and who knows how to fly even her wings are chopped. And that says to all the women of the world, you all are leaders in your workplace because we are managing work, family, life, work balance, and everything. And today's topic that say decision-making power, cultivating leaders for change. So leaders, let's go for a deep dive in the topic, which makes everyone inculcated with leadership qualities. Now, folks, we are talking about cultivating leaders for change. Do remember, when we are budding, we are producing, cultivating leaders, then there is a must requirement for how to take some decisions in your life which will make you different from others, because winners do different things in a different style. And this is the new style which I am talking about. You can say the new leadership equation or the formula. Strategy. When we are making strategies, your strategies should be done with lot of informed decisions with long-term impact, which will show you a global focus and a foresight. Because without any focus, without any motto, your all strategies are going to be flop. So while chalking out your strategies, you have to be mentally aware on what thing you are making your strategies. Empathy. This word is really miraculous, my friends. If we are not empathetic with others, we are not human beings. Keeping others in our situation, using your intelligence, emotions also with intelligence, and love, prosperity, and understanding your team dynamics in a very systematic but empathetic manner makes you a very good equated leader. Your speed. There is a saying, friends, firmness of mind and promptness of action leads to success. So your speed should count, but speed doesn't mean that you should take all decisions in a hurry, buddy. And you should be a judgmental. Be responsive, not reactive. And when you're responsive, you can do wonders. The last one says, and I am sure my all global audience across the globe, the word ego, let's go your E, and that says ego just make you overconfidence, and which can kill clarity. So take care of all these strategies: empathy, speed, ego, and the new equation, the new formula is in front of you. Now, we all know about leadership styles, leadership strategies, what to do and what to not. Have you ever wondered what are the 4 types of decisions a strategic leader or a brilliant leader takes? Since the time is running, so I have to be also respect the time. Tactical, which says how rather than what. And these are taken by middle level managers, your production team, and your example, I can say, resource allocation, where you are taking care of moving forward, how to utilize the resources, and the scope is narrow, the speed is fast. Strategic, broad, your all entire companies where you can say vision, you're talking about vision, your company's advancement on a broader roots. And the example, new market entry, whether we should disuse the product or we should launch the product, it's all come under the strategic decision leader. Ethical, the ethical, moral values, respect, and peace and harmony, and creating a positive ambience that shows an ethical decision leader. And I think that should be there when you are a great leader. And last one, adaptive. When you are adaptive, when you are ready to learn, enhance, and also working in a very positive environment and creating the positive ambience, that says the decision should be adaptive. And this is a decision-making framework which says decide what to decide. Friends, when the problem is there in front of you, what is the problem? No, define the problem, see your gaps. And the next comes, when you know what is your disease, how to relocate it, what to diagnose. It's very easy to treat that particular disease. And that says you just chalk out the plans, factors to consider. Options should be there. Options should not leave you. You should leave the options. Consider alternatives, that is your C. Identify the best choice which you have chalk out. And always, firmness of mind and promptness of action leads to success. That develop an action plan, because actions speak louder than words. Evaluate and monitor the solution, what you have chalked out. Just do a little practice, just do a little research, and I am sure, no problem, nothing can deceive you in taking the best decision of your life. And always remember, leadership starts from inner work to outer impact. What you feel inside, what you think for yourself, your self-awareness, your mindset, that is high order thinking skills, your behavior, your actions. Are you motivated? Are you determined to do a particular task? That makes you a leader. And last but not the least, to everyone sitting over here who are watching us live, what one leadership choice will make you differently? Starting today, commit to action. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Supriya, for this energetic and dynamic presentation. And thank you also for this 4 type of decision. I hope that everyone as a participant here have to keep it in their mind for their future position. Thank you very much, Doctor. And I hope that many people have a lot of questions because your presentation was so amazing. Let us jump to the next speakers. Afrah, Arshad. I don't know if she's there already. Afrah, I don't know if her internet is good now. Can we try again, Mrs. Afrah? Dr. Main, it seems that Mrs. Afrah Arshad still don't, she's not.
I think we should move on with the next speaker. Thank you, Ongla.
You're welcome. Okay, I don't know if Mrs. Marty is there or Diana Joyce. If she's not already there, I think.
Can we call Miss Mary, Ongla? Miss Mary is here already. Miss Mary.
Okay. Mary, where is Mary? Is because I have Mary.
Oh, she left.
No,
okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
Sorry, Mary, but I don't have. Is Mary? Can I have the whole name, please?
Yes, I'm just giving you the full name. Just give me 1 minute.
Yeah. Sorry, because I don't have the whole name. No, she is there. She can give her. Okay, okay, of course. Okay, I know. So I think Akua Ahenmah Dadzie Marie is that from Ghana?
Yes.
Okay, welcome. As everyone listen, you are our next speakers of this session. I just remind that you are from Ghana and you are a seasoned human resources professional and career development coach committed to empowering individuals and organizations to achieve excellence. With years of experience in HR industry, You have built a reputation as a trust expert in talent development, strategic HR management, and workplace empowerment. Gain valuable insight to leadership development, career growth strategies, and empowering ourselves to make decisions that shape a successful future through this presentation. Akua, Ahenmah, Dadzie, welcome to this session. The floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you so much. So I am Mary Hirayama Dadzie from Ghana, and it's really a pleasure to be here. Right. So the internet is a bit, not stable. I'm trying to share my PowerPoint, share my screen so that everybody can see. But until then, as I try, I think we can start. Okay, so like I said, it's really a pleasure to be here. And I'm going to talk about decision making, basically. So decision making power, cultivating leaders for change. Okay, so first of all, when we talk about leadership, a leader is somebody who inspires, somebody who empowers others. Now, if you bring it to wherever we work, wherever we are, leadership basically is not about ranks. It is about you empowering people wherever you find yourself, basically. So now, with our program, Re-Empowering Women, what are we talking about? But first of all, let's look at the law of attraction. The law of attraction states that you will be able to manifest what you follow through on any decision once you have fully committed to it. So everybody on this call, everybody watching me, are we committed to support the women to take up leadership positions? Are we committed to our own selves, to develop ourselves, to take leadership position? That is a question that I'm asking everyone. Now, let's go to three main things that would help all of us. I'm still trying to share the slides. I hope you'll be able to see. So the three main things that would help everybody, if you are willing to take up leadership positions, or to anybody who is ready to empower women, take up leadership positions. The first one is to do self-assessment. So to anybody listening to me, before you can do anything in life, you must first know who you are. You must first know the strength that you possess, because it is only after that you would be able to know that I possess ABCD skills and I have weaknesses in DEF. And so let me improve upon myself. So self-assessment is the first thing. Again, aside you doing self-assessment, to anybody who is here, you must also empower young girls, you must empower everybody. Now, for you to empower the person to take up leadership position, you must help that person to assess herself or himself, all right? Now, the second one is by education. You must be informed, okay? If you want to take up leadership positions or you want to lead, at everywhere you are, every point in time, you must stay informed. And so as a matter of fact, to be informed means you are even empowering yourself, because one of the main things that you can do for yourself if you want to stay empowered is to stay informed. Basically, then one of the main things to do if you want to empower yourself is through information. So get educated. Education is not really about you being in the classroom. Wherever you are, you can learn. All right, it's about learning. Now, the third one is to show up and possess your space. Now, after doing your self-assessment, you get to know some of the weaknesses or some of the places that you must improve upon. Then you come to the second point, which is the education, which I have spoken about. And then the third one is to show up and possess your space. If you are done with you educating yourself, you getting empowered in whatever you are doing now, the next one to do is for you to possess your space.
People will trust you because they have seen what you can do. They have seen your capabilities. And so you must own your voice, possess your space. And then sometimes in our communities, what happens is that because a particular thing is coming from a woman, people will get to ask questions. Okay, but regardless, even if you are a man here, okay, you have sisters, you have daughters, or even friends who are women, tell them to own up to their spaces. Nobody or the society shouldn't tell you what to do. Once you are able to speak to it, you should be okay. So own up to your space and possess that space. Now, before I leave, I just have one advice for each and every one. If you're able to do these three things, the advice I will leave with everyone here is that because you have done those three things, you possess what it takes to take leadership position. If Maya Angelou did it, then it means you can also do it. If Oprah Winfrey did it, then you can also do it. In Ghana, we have a lady who we call Yasantua. She is one of our four mothers, okay? So she was able to lead thousands of men to go to war. If Yasantua did it, then one girl child in Ghana can also do it. And so I want to encourage each and every lady, each and every woman, even each and every man listening to me, that you are able to go up to the mountaintop and possess whatever goal, whatever thing that you want to possess. You are very capable for it. It is all about commitment, okay? How committed you are to the goal. Basically, that is just it. So go up there, be committed to your goal, stay informed by learning, and ensure that you are owning up to your space. Nobody is able to talk from an empty space. Before you talk for people to sit down and listen to you, then it means that they know what you are saying, they believe in the things that you are saying. And so stay informed, keep learning, and possess your space. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mary. Thank you very much. And sorry about internet. It is a general issue. Even here, internet is really tough for us. So we continue directly with Ruhab Sher, who is our next speaker. She is a seasoned executive coach and head of coaching division at Possibilities Global, dedicated to empowering individuals and organizations to unlock their full potential with a master's in business economics and over 15 years of experience in banking. Rehana has on her expertise in finance, leadership, and grow strategies. Let's to gain insight to leadership development, decision-making strategies, and practical ways to unlock our full potential for success. Rehana, Sher, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you so much, Ongla, for such a superb introduction. And I would really appreciate Women Ascension for choosing this thought-provoking topic, I would say, because of course I am coming from banking and corporate sector. So leadership is something that has been very close to my heart. So, and when we come, we talk about the topic, which is very strong, I would say. And at the same time, I would like to thank all the incredible guests. It is so great to be with all of them here. And I am getting so many insights. I'm connecting with so many people internationally, which is great. And let's get back to the topic, which is decision-making power, cultivating leaders for change. So it's not particularly important to be proficient in decision making when you are a leader. Other than that, at any stage in the life, even when you're parenting, when you are growing in your life, as a normal individual, even then, decision-making power is something that has to be there, to be successful anywhere. So similarly, when we see our world today is rapidly changing and there is constant transformation. So I'm sure it is really important for every single individual to be, very efficient in their thinking, to have an effective approach towards everything, and to have a visionary thinking. So it is all that makes a person a good leader, I would say, right? So starting from cultivating leaders for change, leadership is no longer, I would say, as a authority. It is something which is required by a person when they have that clarity, when they have that courage, and when they have that choice, right? So leadership can only be effective when someone has one fundamental skill, which is what? The power to make bold, conscious, and ethical decisions in the face of uncertainty. That is really important. And other than that, if we talk about leadership today, that requires more than experience. It calls for visionary thinking and the emotional intelligence, as Ongla said in the start of the session. So yes, I agree with that it is very much important just to navigate complexity with confidence. So we need leaders who don't just react to change, but actually they initiate it. So leaders who inspire action, build resilience, and empower others to rise with them. That is really important. I was just reading a quote on LinkedIn today which I found very powerful since I, keep talking about leadership and I keep reading about leadership. And I've been through this entire procedure for the almost 15 years. And now I've been teaching this for almost 2.5 years. So it is always, inspiring whenever I see people in my surrounding, when they ask thought-provoking questions and when they act really like a leader. So, what I was reading today is that you are not a leader until you have produced another leader who can produce another leader. So, it's a chain basically. It's a chain. Why? Because if you are not inculcating that kind of culture within the organization, in your surrounding, that means you are not building legacy, right? So, for a strong leader, you should have that courage. You should have those abilities which can make other people in your surrounding a good leader in future who can build an other legacy. So yeah, for a leader, it is really important. And when we talk about cultivating decision-making power, so leadership is developing the inner capacity to see beyond the noise and lead with purpose. Similarly, the leader has to balance empathy with execution and making decisions that align with long term impact, not just short term wins. So, according to me, I think these three capabilities are very much important. As a leadership expert, my mission is to help individuals tap into this power, to move from hesitation to conviction, from confusion to clarity, and from passive leadership to transformative leadership. So I'm sure in my surrounding, all of the people, all of the speakers are very, very well known about the leadership. But all the audience who is having any kind of questions, for example, I was using this passive leadership. Do let me know about that also if you want to know about that more. And if I move ahead, we don't need more people in power. What we need today is we need more powerful decisions made by purpose-driven leaders. That is important because we see so many people in our surrounding who are in power. But are they really making powerful decisions? Are their decisions really making impact? Or are they really bringing the positive change? That is important, right? So if we go into Harvard Business Review, but before that, I would like to share Forbes, what Forbes actually thinks about the decision making for a leader. According to Paula, she emphasizes that involving team members in the decision making process not only improves the quality of decision. This one I'm actually reading. So anybody who thinks that I've written this all, it's not that. But particularly about Forbes, I'm reading it loud just to mention their reference, right? So they emphasize that involving team members in the decision-making process not only improves the quality of decisions, but also boosts commitment to implementation, right? And similarly, if we move forward with the Harvard Business Review, they say Peter Drucker advises that effective executives focus on the most impactful decisions, avoiding the trap of addressing too many issues at once. Concentrating on strategic decisions ensures better use of resources and clear direction. Right? So these are two different, I think, the definitions by Forbes and Harvard Business Review. What they say further, especially the Harvard Business Review, is that what is the importance of decision-making power in leadership? Why is it that important? Because, of course, if the leader cannot make decisions, why would he be called a leader? Why would he be said, somebody who is leading from the top? Why? Because he is the person only if he can shape organizational processes, right? Somebody whenever there is a change required in the organization or whenever there is a sudden change, the leader should know how to lead. He should know how to shape the organizational processes. And then he should know how to empower others. Because if the leader cannot empower others, if he does not know how to delegate the power, how to delegate the work to the team members, of course, why would he be called a leader? So that is one of the attributes, I would say, of the leader. And he should be adapt to change. In dynamic environments, leaders must be able to quickly adapt and make decisions, as I said in the beginning also. You should know the decisions that align with evolving circumstances. Similarly, the leader should foster trust and collaboration among the team members. In my recent coaching session that I was just having with one of the coaches, he was there was a query actually in the entire process of coaching. He just raised a query that we were talking about leadership, and he just mentioned that if I become a leader, I think the entire team is going to get disturbed. I know what definition was he having in his mind, but what I could assess from this communication was that he was probably thinking that if somebody in power becomes strict or rigid or ordering, he was feeling that only that person is going to be called a true leader. But let me tell you, this is actually not the case. If you are in power and you manipulate all of the things or policies, that does not mean you're a good leader. A leader is only called leader when he supports his team members, when he provides, what should I call it? When he should provide guidance to others, when he sees their team members growing, when he's adaptable to accept the change, when he is okay to lead when there is more need by the organization or by their team members. So only a leader is going to be a good leader when he would be fostering positive culture within the organization. So I hope I was trying to make it as simpler as I could so that everybody among the audience would easily be relating with that. I think that's it from my side because there is a lot to share, but due to the shortage of timing, I would like to thank Ongla and Ascension. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you very much, Rehana. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ongla.
I want people to think that after your presentation, can we say that we are born leaders or we become leaders? Because sometimes maybe when you come in the world, you already, your way is already drawn that you will become a leader no matter what. Okay, so our next speakers now is Ruhab and Anwar. I think I pronounced very well, Ruhab Anwar.
Absolutely, thank you.
A passionate, yeah, welcome. I hope that I pronounced very well. Let me present you. So you are a passionate educationist and seasoned leadership mentor with over a decade of experience in early childhood education, teacher training, and academic leadership, currently serving as senior mistress at the city school. Ruhab play a vital role in shaping educational strategies, mentoring teaching staff, and leading impactful schools improvement initiative. Voice like yours, driving change, uplifting communities, and shaping the future of education with excellence and purpose. Thank you, Ruhab. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful introduction. And you've been doing a wonderful job. Hats off to you. Hello, everybody. This is Ruhab Anwar. It's a privilege to be with all of you today, people who believe, like I do, that leadership is not about hierarchy. It's about not being in control. It's just about how we show up, how we care, and how we choose to act, especially when change is the constant. My journey in education has been rooted not just in teaching, but in growing people, supporting teachers, and in nurturing potential, and in creating spaces where leadership can emerge in unexpected ways. I have seen leaders being formed in classes, in staff rooms, people leading without titles or positions, and it's just something like our moderator just shared that there are born leaders. Like leadership, it is born within you once you have that ownership. So being a leader, it's very important for us to give that ownership in the hands of our team, in the hands of the children or the people that we are dealing with, so they can be a part of our journey. And, we should share the same kind of vision. The vision should be shared amongst everybody that's involved around you, people who you are taking charge of, because leadership, it's not only about taking care or being in charge of someone. It's about taking care of the people who you are in charge of, taking care of their needs, especially the needs that are not visible, that they're not there, they're not seen or heard or spoken about. So leadership for me isn't just a role, it's in every day, it's in the part, it's daily, it's there. If you see, it's in my routine. It's like I see it in places where it's not even expected, whether it's guiding a team through a change, making decisions that balance compassion, clarity, or empowering someone to find their own voice. Leadership shows up in small moments. So being leader isn't about just giving advice, it's about igniting the spark within the others to chase and that to dream fearlessly. I don't believe that leadership, I can see by hearing all of you speak, a lot of people around me, and even the women I share the floor with, do not believe that leadership is something that we arrive at. It's something we practice every day and how we show up for others. We often think leadership starts when we have all the answers, but in truth, leadership begins when we commit to being present, when we choose courage over comfort, and we value the fear that is there. And, we choose values over fear. We should not be a type of leader and discourage leadership where fear is there in the people around us. People should be open, they should come and communicate, and all sorts of communication, all sorts of ideas should be well presented, well accepted. We are no longer living in predictable times. In fact, change has become our only constant, whether it's in policy, system, or people. Today's leader need to thrive not in spite of change, but because of it. If I talk about becoming a leader or leading in a culture of change, let's just keep this in mind that you do not need a title to lead. You need clarity, empathy, and a mindset to grow. The key to successful leadership today is influence, not just authority. We often associate leadership with, being a part of being at the top. You have a position, you have a rank, and people think that that's leadership. That's not leadership. It's not always about titles or rank, but true leadership happens when someone uses their voice to bring people together, to create space for dialogue, and to act with intention. In a culture of change, leadership is not about having control. It's about building trust. It's about acknowledging. It's about making people feel safe, where they can innovate, think, trust, and even be happy, feel like a part of a team, like they are there when the leader is doing something, he's moving ahead, the team follows, and they're not just follows, but the team is step by steps aside with him. They need to feel valued before they can contribute fully, because if they are not feeling valued, they do not have a vision aligned with whatever they are thinking they are being asked to do. In a culture of change, leadership in a culture requires us to be emotionally present, to sense when our teams are overwhelmed, to notice where resistance is actually fair, to listen not just to what's being said, but what's left unsaid. When we lead, we create not just results, we create ripples, we create potential for others, we open doors that stay open, like after even we have walked out of them, but they are open for others to walk through. Leadership is not just about being in charge, it's about taking care of those in charge. You are in charge of. Now, if I move a little ahead and let's talk about taking decisions as a leader. So what I feel that decision making is at the heart of leadership, but decisions made without emotional awareness often come at a cost. So what does it mean to lead with emotional intelligence? I often ask myself, I often ask people around me, a leader should always have that why aspect in themselves before making a decision. Why, how, and what, why is this important? What would happen? So it means understanding that a decision affects people, not just outcome. It means slowing down enough to ask, who does my decision impact the most? Whose voice hasn't been heard yet? Am I responding with empathy or reacting out of urgency? We often assume that a strong decision must be swift and certain, but sometimes strength lies in a pause, in inviting others, in saying, I do not have all the answers, but I trust that together we can find the right ones. And that's, where the magic happens, not just being in control, but in co-creation. When a leader leads with emotional intelligence, our decisions are no longer just directives. They become invitations for people to set up, to own the vision, to feel like they're not just being led, but leading from within. And that's how we build loyalty. That's how we build a culture within our team and with anyone who we are working with. And this is where, the beauty of inclusivity also lies. Like in today's world, we talk about empowerment, inclusivity in working with certain aspects, and also this all lies and this all is all applicable in form of a leader also when you're leading and for people who are working with you. So inclusion, it's not just about representation, it's about belonging. It's about ensuring that people feel seen, heard, and valued before they've earned a seat at the table. We must be kind of leaders who do not just invite diverse perspective. We should act on them. We should respect them. We should hear them. So as leaders, we should always ask ourselves, who do I naturally listen to? Who do I unintentionally overlook? And what brilliance might I be missing? Like some of my teammates who's not speaking, who's not sharing their vision, should be comfortable enough to, come up to me in a separate time or at any place and should share what they are feeling, what is on their mind. So when people feel seen, they set up. When they are trusted, they grow, and when they are empowered, they lead. A leader, this I have learned from the people I have worked with, from my leaders. They have always had successors in mind, and those successors were just not in terms of their experience or in terms. Like they were not just successors because they had that experience, that qualification, but they had that specific leadership skill. I've seen a lot of people around me with a lot of experience, a lot of qualification, but the specific leadership skill is not, it's still not developed yet. And this is where people lack and people think, because it's just not about a seat, it's about taking everyone on board. So I've learned from my own leaders that a true leader always creates more leader. And I've just heard a speaker also share a lot of insights about it, that if you are a leader, you have many leaders in your classrooms, your students as leaders, your teachers as leaders, people who are working together, who are bringing ideas to improve your vision. So they are the leaders that come up. They are the future leaders. So empowerment doesn't, mean letting go of standards. It means letting go of the control. It means that giving some dividing, sharing the control, sharing the power amongst people. It means giving people the permission to own and support to succeed. I have read this beautiful quote that if you want to go fast, you should go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. When you have worked hard, done well, and walked through the door of opportunity, you did not slam it shut behind you. You reach back, you keep it open, and let others walk through it as well. Leadership becomes transformational when we move from power over to power with. So I would really like to now make people think that what does it really mean to lead in a culture of change? It means to be brave enough to listen deeply, to choose empathy over ego. It means building a legacy where others are empowered to lead, even when we are not in the room. Change isn't something we do to people, it's something we do with them. So I leave with this, and let's lead with awareness, decide with empathy, and thank you so much for having me over.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ruhab. We directly jump to the next speakers, who is Caroline Nicole Letaru. Please, Caroline, if you are there, get ready. Caroline is a passionate career coach and visionary founder of Kazini Consults, a coaching as a service company that supports professionals through career transition and holistic growth. Caroline speaks on a global platform about leadership employability, and workforce transformation, always advocating for women's empowerment, digital innovation, and economic resilience. And today, she is with us. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I really do appreciate it. And I'm so excited to be amongst all of you here. So I'll just quickly jump into my presentation for today. Let me just share my screen in a bit. Okay, so today's topic is something that I'm really passionate about. Just as majority of my other fellow speakers have already talked about leadership excellence, which is under the decision-making power and cultivating leaders for change. So this is a topic that I am so passionate about, and I'm going to be breaking it down to you in terms of what leadership means to me and what I've been able to achieve in this sphere. So who am I? Just as I've been introduced, my name is Caroline Nicole Taru. I'm a career consultant and leadership coach. I'm the founder of Kazini Consults, and I'm also an ethical hiring advocate. So I advocate for ethical hiring, inclusive workplaces, and community transformation. And I also lead a project called Train the Youth, Empower the Future. So that is just a little bit about me. So just as we have been discussing about what leadership is, I took that time to also get to ask myself, what exactly is leadership excellence? And I wanted to understand what it means. So in my own perspective, I define it as the ability to make clear, confident, and impactful decisions. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way, which is a quote from John C. Maxwell. So basically, leadership requires vision, it requires integrity and influence. Effective leaders empower others and transform systems. However, even as we continue to talk about leadership and we continue to brainstorm about leadership, we get to realize that despite it all, despite about the benefits and the goodness of leadership, we still face a lot of challenges in our midst, even up to today. So what are some of those challenges that we face in leadership? One of them is limited representation. We have seen scenarios where women and youth remain unrepresented in leadership positions, not only in my country, Uganda, but globally. We have lack of access, meaning that we have so many aspiring leaders who are lacking that mentorship training in order to be able to help them make decisions in some of these huge decision-making spaces. Then we also have a challenge of short-term focus. Leadership is often driven by quick wins and not long-term community impact. We are facing issues related to systemic barriers, which are things like cultural norms, bias, and limited resources, which end up hindering leadership growth, especially for women. We also have issues such as inconsistent values. Leadership without integrity erodes trust and fails to inspire sustainable change. So addressing all these challenges means equipping emerging leaders with the skills, confidence, and values they need to be able to lead boldly. But the question stands today, how do we do this? How are we able to equip our women to be able to take up their positions and lead with boldness and confidence? So why does decision-making power matter? Great decisions usually create trust, growth, and transformation. However, so many women face barriers in accessing decision-making roles. So what are we supposed to do about it? One of the ways we can begin to do is to empower women with decision-making authority. So when we do this, it leads to trust and growth, which helps us be able to create decisions that build trust. The other is women's leadership. This will give us the opportunity to ensure that decision authority is essential within our communities. And lastly is sustainable development. We're able to empower decision makers so that innovation can continue to be driven within our communities and create change at the grassroots levels. So how can we be able to cultivate leaders for change? I broke this down in 3 ways. Number one of the things that we need to know is that leadership is not born, but it's nurtured. So meaning leadership is developed over time through guidance and it's not inherited. Number 2 is tools and training. We need to be able to provide for our women, our youths within the communities, access to mentorship opportunities, skills, workshops, and leadership programs in order to continue helping them build their confidence to lead boldly. And lastly, we need to tackle the issue of the grassroots level, because real change starts at the community level, especially in the schools and other local hubs. At Kazini Consults, we believe grassroots leadership is the foundation for sustainable development. Our impact has been driven through coaching and mentorship, where we're able to support professionals, those are women and youths across Uganda, to unlock their career potentials. The other is through career transitions. We guide women and youth through purposeful leadership journey. And lastly, community initiatives, where we deliver programs that empower, equip, and inspire local change agents. So under our project, we have a project under Kazini Consults that's called Train the Youth, Empower the Future. In this project, we recently launched it, and these are some of the activities that we've been able to carry out. Through our leadership training, we've been able to train over 150 plus youths in values-based leadership, focusing on integrity, responsibility, and self-awareness to inspire change from the grassroots level. Then we've also been able to bring up digital tools to sensitize them through our hands-on sessions, where we've seen 80 plus participants gaining foundational digital literacy knowledge, boosting their ability to access information, apply for jobs, and explore entrepreneurship. And lastly, mentors. We've been able to connect these youths with more than 12 plus local mentors, including community leaders, social entrepreneurs, and educators, to guide them in decision-making, goal setting, and personal growth. So this project is not just about building skills, but it's about building confidence and a vision for the future among young people who've often been left behind. So finally, as I almost come to a conclusion, I believe that with leadership, it's not just a one-man journey, but through collaboration, we are able to ensure that we are continuing to create change among so many youths, among so many women, and continuing to empower them, so that way we're able to continue building and leading with confidence. And lastly, our call to action is that our vision is bold, but we know we cannot do it alone. From the different districts we've worked with women and girls in Uganda, we're continuing to equip future leaders, one community at a time. So this is a call of action to all of us to get involved in whatever programs it is that you're leading, so that when we come together, we are able to create a lastful change amongst our grassroots communities. Thank you so much. That was it from me. I really do appreciate your time, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Thank you very much. We not waste time, and then we run directly to Yuri Hirayama. Yuri Hirayama, who is our next speaker from Japan, living in Mexico. The school director, principal educator, and chief sustainability officer at the Yuri Education Center is our next speaker. Yuri is dedicated to promoting sustainability, education, and empowerment through her leadership in her diverse role. She developed programs that address global issues such as gender equality, resources repurposing, and cultural heritage preservation, educational leadership, sustainability strategies, and how empowering the next generation of leaders can shape a more sustainable and equitable future. Mrs. Yuri, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting. Well, I'm very happy to be able to talk today. Well, I have been empowering both women, well, girls, and youth, young people. And then I established Yuri Education Center quite recently, 1.5 years ago. So it's new. The reason why I established this, I'm going to tell very soon. And let me introduce myself first. Okay. And then I am Yuri from Japan, but I have been in Mexico in order to study in PhD program. My PhD research focus is on CSR, corporate social responsibility, and sustainability. I'm very, very passionate about sustainability and education. And then when I was in Japan, I realized that a lot of women, mothers, were lonely raising their children at home. But at the same time, in the morning time, the community centers, for example, there were so many rooms open. The rooms were not utilized by anyone. So I started to gather people, mothers and babies. Well, babies, what I mean by babies, from probably 7 months, 0-year-old, but 7 or 8 months. So basically what I did was to gather mothers and babies, and then I started to teach music while playing the piano and singing English songs. As you could imagine, in Japan, there are not so many good English speakers, but mothers were eager to learn English. And then, of course, children, if they become English native, the bilingual, being able to use Japanese and English, it will be better, right? So a lot of mothers became interested in taking this free course, right? And the community center actually, paid me, but the mothers didn't have to pay. That's another reason why they gathered, maybe. But little by little, fathers came to join. That's really good, so that they could share child raising, right? And then I started to read sustainability-related books to children and mothers, and then they became interested in the word sustainability. Yeah. And then it has been, about 18 months and it's still ongoing. And then the second activity, I gathered students, including elementary, junior high, and high school students, in order to conduct after-school. So what is lacking in school education is that they haven't had enough opportunity to learn about sustainability, like what is sustainability. And then I utilized this SDG chart, suggested by United Nations. And I realized that even though it says like first goal, second goal, third goal, I realized in Japan, a lot of people were not really suffering from poverty, not really from hunger, well-being. Okay, they have been healthy. So they were not really concerned about how to tackle those important issues, globally important issues. So I let them be aware of the existence of global challenges such as poverty, gender inequality, and also the food waste. That's really the serious issue in Japan, food waste, especially focusing on SDG 12, responsible consumption of production. And then the students, at that time they were wearing masks because that was during the, it has been it took 3 years for students to be able to get rid of the mask. Okay, they had to keep wearing mask almost for 2 and 3 years. And then they fixed their own topic. They proposed their own idea to solve SDG 12 related issue, including elementary school students, junior high school students. And then, for example, kimono. Yeah, that's an elegant Japanese clothes that has been sitting in the room without being used. So some students suggested, probably they could use kimono to make something new, or they have a lot of textbooks which were not used, but they could send them to and bring them to developing countries to actually teach the kids in Africa, in other parts of Asia. Yeah, and also by using the food, they realized that, probably they could use stems or cores to make something new. So little by little, they really are aware of the importance of learning about sustainability. And then I named the event Waste to Wow. So they're trying to change something considered to be waste to something miracle. And then also, in order to be persuasive, I actually started one project. Okay, I went to the motorcycle store to gather unused recycled tires, and then they gave me for free. And also, as a shoe strap, I started to use climbing ropes. Those were given for free too. Why? Because as a teacher, I have to work on something, right? Also, so I was able to make a pair of sandals, and it didn't take me so long, maybe 2 hours, in order to make a pair. So that is one of the activities. And then the fundamental issue in Japan is that they tend to be collectivists. So they are very, very shy in front of everyone in class. So in order to complement, I started Zoom sessions, including the students from all over the world, especially including a lot of girls. 12, 13, 14-year-old girls became very, very active, including Japanese students, the ones from Africa, the ones from the United States, Europe, and also Asia. And then that's held weekend. Actually, before this, I was holding one class, including multicultural people. And then sometimes, well, the students in Africa don't have their individual headset or computer. So, one screen, they are sharing one screen in order to attend the Zoom session. And then on the other hand, in Japan, each student has an expensive computer or iPad or tablet, headphone, but if they are being quiet, it's really meaningless. So I really encourage them to be courageously discussing and then actively involving, right? And then actively also leading the other students too. Yeah, and then I ask them the mutual questions, like common questions. Do you live in the urban area or rural area? And there's some advantages and disadvantages exist. Please share. It is so important to consider why in addition to what during their youth. Yes, and then another activity I do is, gather youth, young students, and also some sustainability practitioners or alumni members. They are experts on sustainability. They are willing to attend as reviewers. Yeah, so let's say that they make pitch sessions, and then the alumni members from Oxford or National University of Singapore, they are happy to review. So their sessions became very, very interactive. And as you can see, not only male students, but also female students, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids became very active to tackle global issues. Yes, the things like that. And then the youth are really important because they need to learn from the youth, by the way, not only from the professors, but from the youth. That is why I include alumni members or young sustainability practitioners. And then, Aizel from Pakistan was just a 12-year-old girl, but she became very proactive. And then she even, now she has a company supported by the parents. And then she pointed out that there were some ghost nets abandoned by the fishermen by mistake or maybe intentionally. So Aizil has been trying to gather those. And then in order to give other female in Pakistan to have some opportunity to get a job, changing from ghost nets to something miracle, which is sucker nets. Okay, so she has been creating this huge opportunity. So female kid, is creating a huge opportunity for a lot of other females in Pakistan. And then I will continue to support the empowerment of youth. And also not only the innovation, but also the tradition, cultural heritage is a key factor. I'd like to inform the youth that not only the innovation, but also the heritage is very important. So each time I assign them, okay, yeah, make one slide to tackle, to think about how they can maintain a balance between innovation and a tradition. Yeah, I just proposed that, well, let's make some like additional goal. Let's say preserve and promote heritage and traditions. And because of the time, I will just skip those. But yeah, really people from all over the world, including female and male students, have been discussing the common issues. Yeah. And then the important thing is the one from Tanzania, for example, she has been learning in Oxford University, but after she graduates, she's willing to contribute herself into Tanzania. So it's really reciprocal. And then, as I said, boys are being active too. And then, well, this girl pointed out that in local areas, there's a huge gap between the boys and girls. She pointed out that sometimes girls were treated like cattle, right? And then, well, she has been in the city, okay, receiving education, but she would like to contribute something into local areas. And of course, I have been supporting her. And also, I have been in the podcast, for example, and the conference in order to show that I can do it as well. I am one of the female members, right? So as a PhD candidate, I'm still learning. And then I always let them know that leaders are lonely. Leaders need to be lonely. Leaders need some time to think about it. But take that as an opportunity so that they can have plenty of time to think creatively. But if those lonely leaders come together in one place, let's say in Zoom session, the power will be really immense. So this is the concept of my Yuri Education Center. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Yuri, for this amazing job that you are doing with the young people, young leaders. And I saw in the audience that someone said that you want to be part of that project. I think that the linking page of all the speakers is shared so that people can directly connect to the speakers and then discuss about what they want to do with them. Our next speaker is Afrah Arshad. Afrah, I think you are there. I already made your presentation before, so the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, and sincere apologies for the delay. My internet was acting up, so I couldn't present when you called my name. But here I am. Let me just share my screen with you all. All right. I hope that I'm audible and you can see my screen as well.
Yes, you are.
All right, perfect. So it's a pleasure definitely to be here among such amazing global makers and emerging leaders. And the speakers that we have, they have also shared amazing insights. And I would also like to share some part of my insight as well. Well, my name is Afrah Arshad, and I'm a clinical psychologist. So I will be focusing more on the how can a psychologist, or how can the study of the brain can help leaders to fulfill their task, or to be able to enhance their skills in the leadership. And the topic that we have today is decision making, and that's something that we need to talk about it. We need to talk about the leadership at its core, and how can it helps to cultivate leaders for the meaningful change. All right. So leadership is just not about the vision, it's about action. And at the center of action is where the decision making comes. So a powerful vision can definitely help to inspire people, because it sets direction, it creates hope, and it gives people something to work towards it. But I believe without the ability to act on that vision, without making decisions that turn ideas into outcomes, that vision just remains a dream. And this is where decision making becomes crucial, because every step that a leader takes, it begins with a choice. Whether it's about launching a new project, whether it's about resolving a team conflict, whether it's about shifting strategy during a crisis, or even choose when to stay silent. Every moment of leadership is shaped by the decision. Now, here's the thing. Not every decision will be perfect, but the willingness to decide, to take ownership of a path forward, is what separates reactive leadership from proactive, from impactful leadership. And that's the most important thing that we need to talk about. We need to, have some highlights, share some highlight on this part as well. There are a lot of leaders that we all know, but we are not following those leaders because they always have the right answers. We follow leaders who are decisive, who take responsibility, and who are willing to take calculated risk. And they also stand by the choice that they take. They are responsible for whatever decision that they are making. I want all of you to actually think about if there's any leader in your life that you admire the most, and why do you admire them? What's the reason behind admiring those leaders? Chances are it's not just because they have great ideas, but because they made choices that moved people, that challenged the system, and that has brought real change. And you have seen that change, that they are doing it. So if we want to cultivate leaders for the change, we must start by building decisions-making confidence. We need to talk about the confidence, that how we can make that decision that is required in a leadership. That has grounds in ethics, in empathy, and in purpose as well. And I believe that a lot of us have already discussed about different strategies, different ways to be a good leader. So I will also be sharing some of my experience and some of my, my favorite leaders that I inspired the most, and what makes them different from other leaders that we are familiar with. All right. So definitely decision making in leadership, it's all about choosing the best possible action from different options to reach a goal. Whoever a good leader, they are definitely going to think rationally. They are going to analyze all the facts, and they're going to understand the possible risk, what's right and what's wrong. And then they finally make a choice. The best part of them is that they take accountability of the consequences of that decision. Decision making is all about having the effective leadership, because every action or inaction. Now, by inaction, what I meant here is that when to stay silent. Sometimes a leader have to stay silent as well. And that's also, they must know when it's time to stay silent and when it's time to take an action, because that impacts overall a team or organization that they are working with. All right, now I will be sharing some of the key strategies, because we need to understand why decision making is so important in leadership and how we can do that. How can we become a good leader? How we can make a good decision? Because the kind of world that we are living in today, leader must be able to make decisions that are timely, that are thoughtful, and that has a positive impact. Make sure that the impact that they're having is positive. Whether it's about a small team or a large team, the ability to make smart decision, ethical decision, is what makes them set apart from other leaders. So let's explore some of the key strategies that I believe is important. I have jotted down 3 strategies, because I know there are like thousands of strategies and we all are familiar with a lot of them, but I would be talking about 3 most effective strategies. So the first one is leverage data and diverse perspectives. The first and the foremost important thing is we have to use information, but we also have to use people around us. Great leaders, they are not relying on just their gut feeling alone. They are looking at the facts, the data that they have from the people. It's helping us to understand what's happening around us. The people around us, they are helping us to predict outcomes. and to reduce the risk that is associated with it. But numbers alone, they are not giving us full picture. That's where people comes in. Engage your team, invite their opinions, listen to their perspectives as well, especially those perspectives that are challenging your own perspective. Because when people around you, they are feeling hurt, they are contributing more meaningfully. And sometimes it's not the leader that's making the best solution. It's actually the people around them that are giving ideas, different voices around them that are being brought to the table. All right, so the second strategy is embody emotional intelligence and ethical leadership. Next, you have to lead with both heart and integrity. Leadership is just not about being right. It's about being real. It's about being fair. Emotional intelligence, that's the term that is used very commonly in psychology. It actually means that you have to tune in your own feelings, and you have to be aware of how others are feeling too. It's about being able to sense the stress around you. It's about being able to sense the tension around you and how you can respond with care. And ethics, that's your compass. Fair and transparent decisions, that's what building trust. When your team knows that your decisions are not only smart, but they're also kind and they are principled, they will definitely follow you. Even though sometimes you might have tough decisions, you might have to take tough decisions, but if you are following ethics with you, they are going to follow you. Ask yourself, am I making this decision with both courage and compassion? And that's what's going to help you. Last point is that you have to be decisive, you have to be accountable and reflective. Finally, don't let fear stop you. Indecision can be more harmful than a wrong decision. A leader must be willing to act even though things are not clear. Being decisive means that you are showing strength and you are showing character in you. Make sure that you are owning your choices and you are celebrating the wins as well as you are learning from the loss. What did I learn from this decision? How can I make it better the next time? Ask these questions because they are going to help you to improve your decisions for the next time. All right, so these are the strategies that I have jotted down. It uses both data and people, and it leads with empathy and ethics. And always remember that heart of effective leadership lies on how you decide and how you grow from that decision. Make sure that you are reflecting your decisions as well. All right, now I'm going to share some real world examples of decisive leadership. And these are my 4 most favorite leaders. And I would also want you guys to think about the leaders that you inspire and why do you inspire them the most. The first one is Jacinda Ardern. She's a Prime Minister of New Zealand, and she has led a quick decisions during COVID pandemic through thousands of lives. The second one is Malala Yousafzai, and as a teenager, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with her. She have made courageous decisions to speak out for girls' education, and she has inspired global movement for education rights. Because her leadership comes from deep values, moral clarity, and the courage to stand up, even when it's dangerous. All right, then we have Elon Musk. All right, so he has taken a very bold decisions regarding electrical vehicles through Tesla, and he has talked about space innovation. His decision was visionary and future focused. Last but not the least, we have Greta Thunberg. She was just 15 when she took a personal decision to protest outside the Swedish parliament for climate change. The small act of her courage has sparked international youth movement, and she is doing a lot for climate change today. All right. So can you think of a time when someone made a bold decision in your life, maybe in your workplace or community, that has changed things for the better? And maybe you can focus on that as well, that how she has inspired you in today's world. All right. Some key takeaways. The first one is make sure that you are making decision with intention and not fear. The second one is don't wait for the perfect moment. Act with the information you have. You have to make sure that you are acting with the kind of information that you have. Lead with empathy and ethics, like I've just focused on that. And lastly, reflect and learn from every decision, whether it's good or bad. All right, thank you so much. Leadership is all about it's not about having all the answers, it's about having the courage to decide, the heart to care, and the humility to learn. I'm sure that I'm sure that it has inspired a lot of you and the leaders that we are following. I'm sure that they are being very effective in making true decisions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Arshad, and we are happy that you have been able to to make your presentation. Oh, thank you very much. So we'll directly jump to the questions, and I think there are a lot of questions in the chat box, and also you can raise your hand and ask directly your question to the speakers. So the first question here is about, in your opinion, what are the most important qualities that define a truly effective leaders in today's world? Any speakers can answer. In your opinion, what are the most important qualities that define the truly effective leaders in today's world? Nicole, if you are there, you can answer about it. I don't know if speaker Nicole is there or already left.
Yes, hello.
Yes, the question.
Yes, thank you so much for the question. So what are some of the qualities of an effective leader? I would say integrity is one of them. I think that's something that I've had to practice for quite some time now. Being resilient, because there are also times where you're going to face a lot of ups and downs, and your leadership position is going to test you in so many ways. So you need to be resilient throughout the process. You need to have patience, and you also need to have the ear to listen to others and be empathetic in terms of when situation calls, depending on the situation that you're going through. So those are some of the few attributes I can share regarding an effective leader. Thank you.
Can I add more for effective leaders? Yeah?
Of course you can.
Yeah. Well, effective leaders have to be empathetic, and they need to be a good listeners. As we lead, we need to be good listeners to our team members, and to share their problems, to identify their weaknesses so that we work on them. So a leader is not about all what has been mentioned is totally correct. Adding to that, empathy is a very, very important skill in addition to listening. We have 2 ears and we have 1 mouth. So we have to really listen 2 times more than we speak. So this is my addition to the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There is another question.
Can I answer? Sorry, I have been raising my hand.
Sorry, let's go.
Very quickly. Yes, sorry. My name's Yuri. And then, so quickly I'm answering. The ability to balance between innovation and tradition. So leaders tend to be very innovative, right? Doing something impactful, right? By leading people in order to be innovative. But go to local areas. People in local areas might not need so much innovation. They would like to maintain the heritage, culture, and the tradition. So the leaders must listen to the people in cities and the people in local areas, and including indigenous people, in order to well balance innovation and tradition. Thank you.
Yes, Yuri, I have another question. I was supposed to ask you that question before you take these answers. The question is, what advice will you give to someone afraid of making the wrong choice?
Well, as people say that we learn by mistakes, right? But in order to make mistakes, we need to learn that courageous actions are necessary, right? We cannot be timid. But if you want to become courageous, be careful, okay? Don't be so arrogant. Again, listening ability is very important. Try to listen to the people first. Then, if there is any chance that they can become courageous, they can have opportunity where they can courageously speak, then speak. Listen first, like somebody said that listen like double time, right? And then speak a little bit, but with courageous mode, with tension, while listening to others. That's the ability. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yuri. Mrs. Amanda, this is the question, if Mrs. Amanda is there. How do great leaders balance confidence with humility in their decision? If Mrs. Amanda is not there, anyone can take the lead to answer. It's time to take the leads. Can lead to take the answer about how do great leaders balance confidence with humility in their decision? Anyone can answer.
Yeah, Ongla, I can answer this question.
Thank you, Rehana.
You're welcome. So I have made a video on this since I'm a leadership expert. So I keep making videos on leadership and stuff. So when it comes to like balancing confidence with humility, it's really important for the leaders because I've seen most of the leaders when they come into power, they become arrogant, which is so unfortunate. And they do not understand that providing support to the people is really something which makes a leader a great leader and an effective one also, right? So when we say that there has to be balance in that, that means he is supposed to provide support to his people in a way that he does not impose decisions or he does not order them. He actually provides support with humility, asking them, like, whenever there is need, to provide support to them in a good way. Also, he should also know that feedback is also very important. When he provides feedback, that has to be positive also. I mean, he should make sure that whenever he is giving feedback to his people, that is not in front of everybody. I mean, when there is appreciation, then yes, that should be shown in front of everyone. But just in case he sees that there is a need to, give a kind of rectification, I would say, or whenever he tries to make some changes where the team is going wrong, I think he should provide that guidance in privacy. So I think that is very much important.
Thank you very much. I don't know if Dr. Supriya is still there with us. I have a question for her. If not, anyone can answer. What do you consider first, logic or emotion when making an important decision? Why? Anyone can answer. What do you consider first, logic
Can I
or
answer it?
emotion? Of course, of course.
Okay. For me, in my own perspective, I would consider usually leading with emotion. Why? Because that is how I feel about something. So whether it I lead with emotion first because it helps me be able to align with my values, my purpose, and also find peace within there. But on the other hand, I don't just stop there. And that is where now logic comes in. So logic comes in to help me be able to assess the risks, the plans, the steps, before I'm able to make a whole grounded decision. So for me, I would say it's a balance of both, but usually emotion comes first and then later on logic comes in to help me assess the whole concrete decision before I'm able to finally make that final decision. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Nicole. We have another question from attendee from YouTube who asks, how do you keep resilient in face of challenges? Anyone that can answer can answer also. Any speakers available can answer. How do you keep resilient in face of challenges?
Can I answer? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, of course you are.
Okay, so as a leader, resilience is a very important, it's a skill, it's an aspect that's super important. Until and unless you fall back in times of challenge, you can never be a leader. It's just a quality of a manager. A manager just manages things on the surface. However, if you're a leader, you need to build that resilience. And it can only be built if the vision is shared by everyone around you, because then once your vision is shared, everybody takes the equal responsibility, even if that decision falls back, even if there is a problem, even if there is a mistake made, everybody takes equal responsibility. And then the resilience comes in, that even if something bad has happened, we still have more opportunities. And in today's time of change, in today's era of change, the only thing that we can learn from today's world is that you have to keep up on your feet. You have to stay firm. You have to believe that if one thing has happened bad, like we have seen in the time of COVID, like if something was, if something fall back, a new decision was made. If something went again not in good favors, a new decision was again made. So for a leader, this kind of thought process, this kind of mindset is really important, and resilience being like the heart and soul of everything has to be there. So my advice to all the new leaders, all the people who are struggling with this thing, keep a positive mindset, stay positive. If something bad has happened, it's fine, another opportunity will come to you. If something is not working in your favor, maybe that was not meant for you. So thinking and being positive is very important.
Thank you very much, Ruhab. Let's jump to the next question. Can someone be a silent leader, leading by action, not words? What does leadership look like beyond title or recognition? We know that we used to have it in Africa. Can someone be a silent leader, leading by action, not words? What does leadership look like beyond title and recognition? Yes, you can answer.
Sorry, may I answer? Okay. Oh, the silent leader, I see. I would say that keep in mind the successful examples and experiences very important, right? So once they find the successful and the solid example experience that they have achieved, just repeat by taking actions without speaking so much. And then those actions will be recognized and evaluated by the other leaders in the world. And the leaders in the other parts will do the same action, take the similar actions. Then the silent leader will produce other leaders in the other parts of the world. Then similar actions will be impactful influence to other people. That's how it works, I think.
Thank you very much, Yuri. We have another question. Let me look very well the questions. Why is decisions making important if already have a specific plan in place? Why do we allow lower level employees to participate in the decision making process, and what are their roles? Anyone that can, I think we have the HR here. She can answer.
Ongla, if I'm not wrong, did you ask me to answer the question?
Okay, let me ask the question again. Why is decision making important if we already have a specific plan in place? Why do we allow a lower level employees to participate in the decision making process, and what are their roles?
Yeah. So if you want that the lower managers has to be part of the decision making, yes, that is very much important, because if the leader is not allowing his team members to be in power, then of course, how would he be able to make them good leaders in future? And how would he be able to, produce a predecessor for them? Somebody who can build a legacy. So I think for managers, it is really important to be involved in decision making, and they should be given this chance every now and then, so that they can, of course, get this confidence that tomorrow, when they are going to be in, in leadership position, and of course, this is one of the steps to become a leader. If he is not going to get this confidence, then how come he is going to handle the entire team or the organization in future? So I think that is important for managers also to become part of decision making.
Thank you very much. I think that Dr. Main have something to say. Dr. Main, you have something to say to us? We haven't heard you today.
Hello, Anwar. Thank you. Could you please repeat again? Your voice was breaking.
No, I don't know. My internet is not breaking. I just say that you have something to add.
Yes, I really want to add one thing with regard of all of the speakers who have joined in. Since we really trying our best to properly plan, like building a ladder across the globe, so that the ones who want to move towards leadership are the ones who are planning to reach leaderships, and the other way around, parallel we're working to build more leaders on ground. So looking at this aspects, the leaders who have joined in from across the border with different mindset, different region, different culture, diversity, what would you like to give one, simple statement or step for the ones who are listening at different age group, what they should add in their personality or in the mindset or in their different activities, so that they achieve, success with the pace of time as time is flying by. It's an open discussion, like for everyone. I really want to add this thing because I am involved with teenage. I am involved with early 20s, late 20s, early 30s, late 30s, 40s, 60s. Everybody is trying to achieve something, regardless of age. But they're looking for one simple step that you might be taking that might help them. What that could be, that could help them to be, reach that goal.
Have you done, Dr. Main? Okay, so
yes, Nicole wants to add, and after that, I think we should wind up.
Okay, Nicole, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. That's a very, very amazing question, Dr. Mahin. I think for me, the one word of advice that I would give, which has been something that I've been practicing for quite some time, and it has really been helping me, is consistency. As much as it may sound like a very simple or small word, but I believe you cannot be able to achieve something of impact, of influence in our world today if you've not started from somewhere. So whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're working with the youths, whether you're working with women, whatever sector it is, whatever industry, you need to be consistent. Do it time and time again. I remember initially when I started my journey of traveling way back while I was still at the university, I started documenting my journey on YouTube, creating videos and all of that. But, you know, it was so funny that so many people made fun of me at that time, and they never really saw any essence in what I was doing. But now today, that same work that I've kept doing till this date is what is now helping me be able to get the opportunity to speak to others about this same skill. So all in all, I would summarize it from my end is consistency. Whatever it is that you're doing and you're passionate about it, and it's able to create impact in our society, then remain consistent, because the more you do that, you become better at it and you're able to create influence and change that our world needs today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you so much. And with that, I genuinely would like to thank all the speakers who have joined in the very difficult time set, but then manage it. Thank you so much for that. And I would personally like to thank Ongla, and I would personally like to thank everybody who managed this, you know, and the beauty of this connection and this, in simple word, I can say that today is the series number 5 in which we talk about leadership. And I witness the leadership with every age who have managed this conference. So thank you so much, everybody, putting in your effort. Thank you so much for your time. And that's our promise that all of your speakers who have joined in, all of them, all the members, everybody, we are going to meet in exceptionally new level. And we will provide you all the details. We have provided in LinkedIn. We will provide one more time. And we are going to get connected one more time with meaningful sessions with all of them. So I am really happy with all of you. I'm very thankful to all of you who have made this possible, connecting and working together. So thank you so much, all of you, for this time and support. Thank you, Ongla. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mahin. And let's remind that tomorrow we have our last session. So all of us, we have to be present tomorrow. Thank you for all the speakers. I think Dr. Mahin has already thanked you. It was an amazing session today, because being a leader is not just not to say I am a leader, but is to be present at all level of societies, all level of decision making. Be sure that you can change things around you, not fears. Be able to say, today it's my day. Today I can change. Today I can help. I can work in terms of inclusion. So thank you, everyone. Be ready for tomorrow's session and see you soon. Bye-bye.